Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to Chai with Rohima. Our online guest today is Dr. Zoe Mandich. She is the CEO of Face Markets, but has been working with major companies such as British Telecoms and Virgin Media in the roles of B2B and also with works on looking at diversity and access to markets. Dr. Zoe Mandich, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rohima, for inviting me, and it's really a pleasure to be here to kind of have this conversation with you regarding the ICT market and, more importantly, digital Bangladesh and the ambition of digitization that has been going on in Bangladesh for quite a few years. I remember when in 2015, yourself and myself and a number of other people, we actually launched the High-Tech Park in London, if you recall, in November 2015.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's been such a pleasure to actually see such progress in Bangladesh since then.
Yeah, it has come on leaps and bounds, and no doubt with the COVID-19 it has had some teething problems. However, I think, you know, those problems are overcome in the sense that it's also made e-commerce much more successful in Bangladesh. And when we look at the amount of people now using the platforms such as Alibaba and others, then we see that there's opportunities for many more people to actually start online businesses and for more wider national companies to invest in Bangladesh, whether it's with their software or outsourcing. What do you think are the barriers that, you know, to opening up these markets, Dr. Mandich?
Thank you, Rohima. You've kind of spotted exactly some of the challenges or barrier to entry for ICT. The good news is that as a result of obviously the new challenges that we've had across the world, you know, with Corona, and quite a lot of us, I mean not quite a lot, everybody is now more or less has to do quite a lot of what they do in their day-to-day life as well as business using online platforms. And hence there has been a massive growth in online and digitization, and more importantly, software developments. So software development and finding good quality engineers who can actually go ahead and develop that software, that application, has always been a challenge, whether you're in UK, USA, wherever you are, because obviously the quality of the software is absolutely vital to make sure that the system that has been designed does what it's meant to do and the quality is there. And as this huge surge on digitalization and each one of us doing much more online than we used to do before, then the need for call centers, software that actually runs these call centers, move to cloud has all, I was going to say double, but it's actually far more than double. It's probably 5 times more. And I think this has actually created a massive opportunity for companies, companies in Bangladesh and Bangladesh as whole, because I do know that there are lots of high quality graduates coming out of universities from Bangladesh, and it's just now a question of connecting that resource that is there with the needs that is in the UK market. So I think one of the key aspects when you come to the operational side of things, for example, when I was in charge of developing new propositions, new products for British Telecom, quite a big chunk of the work that we had to do was being done in India. So it's now becoming a kind of an understood practice to outsource development of the application and software, let's say to Asia. I would just use Asia as the overall to cover the whole region. And obviously this kind of opens a massive opportunity for Bangladesh to use this, to come into this market and to this area and prove itself that they can deliver the software on time, within the budget, and according to the quality procedures and quality expectations that is expected, let's say, over here in United Kingdom. And hence, monitoring what is normally called in industry as SLAs, SLA stands for Service Level Agreement, and what it implies in the development. I hope that kind of explains an overall, let's say, a barrier that I would consider as probably at an operational level, a major barrier that can easily be overcome, but it needs to be understood.
I totally agree with you. We're very fortunate in Bangladesh that the population has a very young population and a large amount of graduates who are very, very talented and quite capable. I think, like you say, that it's getting that graduate skill out there and to let people know that we're able to meet those service level agreements. But for UK businesses that want to invest in Bangladesh, and it obviously there are a few barriers in terms of not just, the government is doing its best, the Bangladesh government is doing its best, but we now have the opportunity, given that we've just come out of Brexit, to look at new ways of building business with Bangladesh, and be they, as you say, with software or with other companies or payment gateways. I think there's a lot of possibilities for those companies, IT companies, that are interested in perhaps building new payment gateways to Bangladesh. It'd be interesting to know from your perspective, what would be useful for Bangladesh to consider in order to start looking at ways to promote Bangladesh as a company that can take those service level agreements to the level that is accepted in the UK? Is it just a language barrier? Because obviously the graduates are very, very capable. They're wonderful engineers in themselves that can do software engineers. But we seem to have a problem in promoting that out to the outside world. Why would you think that was?
I think there's probably a number of aspects or a number of angles to look at. One is that when you come out of the university, not just from Bangladesh, even over here, you obviously have got the theory. You have the theoretical background. You have the knowledge of how to write the software. However, when it comes to the world of B2B, business to business, there are obviously certain quality procedures, the way that it needs to be done, the way you need to communicate with your colleagues, the way you are expected to collaborate and keep the, let's say, the other part of the business informed of what's happening. These are some of the skills that I believe it can be further developed. And it can be perhaps, just kind of, it could be just, let's say a 6 weeks, 6 months, however you want to code it, like a course that these guys can come on to and learn. First of all, communication, as you know, is extremely important when it comes to developing software, to make sure that you're communicating according to what is expected over here. You can do the best software, but if you can't actually communicate what you have done, or how far you've gone with the testing, etc., it can cause concern with the senior management, let's say, back in the UK. So communication is quite important, and it could be potentially, as you said, Rohima, to have a layer of, management who are taught or who have the knowledge or thought. It's almost like a little bit of training to see that how do I actually express what has been done. So that's quite important. And secondly, be able to take that knowledge and that expertise and teach it to the young graduates. A young graduate needs a holding hand for a while so that they become or they have more expertise in how to deal in a business-to-business environment. And not everybody learns that at the university. Quite a lot of us, when you're at university, you're so concerned about passing the exam, making sure you kind of get the degrees and the grades. So when you come to the business world, it's important, first of all, the communication. Secondly, to have a layer of managers who have kind of gone through some trainings over here, and then they can pass that knowledge and insight back to the team. So I think that's quite important, to be able to show that capability as an overall. It's not just, we know that, for example, High Tech Park is excellent. It has all the facilities. It has the Wi-Fi, the connectivity, and so on and so forth. It's just building that next layer of trust to say, yes, you can actually, I can be trusted, so to speak, and you can hand over development of your software, especially in the, let's say, the communication and in the cloud migrations of a lot of the software that we are all working on, back to the companies in Bangladesh. So I think it's communication and then creating a layer of senior managers that know how to deal with their, let's say, vendors back in the UK. India has done that for many years, and they've become very successful by creating that layer. For example, they have these consultancies, Infosys, which was maybe a few years ago. It was just two guys from India who came over here. They learned, as they say, the tricks of the game. And now there are probably hundreds and thousands of them working on different projects across the United Kingdom. I hope I have answered your questions. If not, please let me know and we can dig in more.
Well, we're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, we'll look at further ways that we can perhaps encourage partnerships between UK and Bangladesh. Please do join us again after this very short break, and we look forward to seeing you shortly. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Chai with Rohima. On today's program, we have the honour of our guest, Dr. Zoe Mandich. Dr. Zoe, just before the break, we were talking about what a wonderful opportunity is for Bangladesh graduates that, with the digital sector being opened up in Bangladesh, and how the High Tech Park offers companies to invest into Bangladesh, and how, what the benefits would be. I think, along with you, is if there were perhaps some kind of program or internships that maybe it partnered with maybe the UK and America and other countries that would help to hold the hands of the graduates as they move forward, because I think a lot of the service level agreements, unless we have a history of service level agreements that have been acceptable, then it's very hard to show that and promote confidence in the market. But one of the other areas which I wanted to touch upon was AI and how that is going to affect everybody's lives. Post-COVID, and even now, when we look at what is AI, could you please just give a short, brief explanation of what is AI for our viewers, and why it's a really good area for people to get into and understand, and perhaps to take up those areas as part of their STEM subjects and ICT courses in the future, especially if we've got A-level students just now returning to college.
Okay, I'll do my best. Artificial intelligence, as you mentioned, AI, is quite a massive area that is obviously helping each and every one of us without us realizing it. AI is, again, if you want to ask me what is the core of AI, artificial intelligence is just like the way my brain, your brain works, the way we kind of analyze this stuff, the way we come to a decision, the way we kind of decide, do I go left or do I go right? Do I do this or do I do that? That is basically, we try to kind of mimic that with artificial intelligence. And really, there are specific languages that is used in order to do that. So it comes back to software engineering. I mean, if you want to know who is the king of the land, within ICT, it's the software development and the quality of that software. And clearly, for us to be able to do the AI effectively, then is having a software engineering degree or software engineering skills is very important to be able to kind of write these algorithms. So it's a bit of having a mathematical mind, a data analytic mind, as well as being able to have a good skill set in terms of software development. So bringing that all together is kind of where the AI leads us. And in a way, some people are kind of worried that with AI picking up so rapidly and growing so fast, will I lose my job? Is that AI, artificial intelligence, is actually going to do my job? What would happen? I believe clearly AI for initially is going to remove a lot of jobs which are repetitive, because that can be done by a machine or by a robot. But however, as something goes, as something new comes in, so there's AI creates a lot of new opportunities because things can be done much faster. For example, even let's go back to health, right? If before, you have to have quite a few clinicians looking at different, let's say your X-ray, your ECG, your cardiology, different, sets of data, and to make a decision. Now with AI, you can actually feed all that data into that, let's say, I would just call it an AI machine. And that AI machine can do this job much faster, with a far better quality, do the analysis and come up with the results, so that results can be then checked and, let's say, verified and qualified by the top surgeon or by the top clinician. So on one hand, it's going to reduce the cost, so things are going to be done much cheaper. At the same time, it will be done much faster, and it will help each and every one of us in our daily life. But where Bangladesh and Bangladesh youth can benefit from, again, is from their expertise and the knowledge they can bring on board with their software development skills. The world is run by software today. And even if you look at the hardware, like these devices, mobiles that we all use, I would say 80% of the mobile device is run by the software and different applications that is sitting within that hardware. So, if that kind of gives an indication of where the world of ICT is going.
Thank you for that, Zoe. And as you say, it has its uses not only for the community with the health programs, but also commercially, as we see with the different platforms, but also in the event of smart cities, which also Bangladesh is very interested in creating, smart cities, which is all about everything from traffic control to how many pedestrians or where you shop, what you shop and what you buy. AI has a role in everything. So there are more and more opportunities for people to get involved into the engineering side or the software side. So we do hope that some of these might encourage our young people who are just choosing their subjects at university to think wider, and hope that they will take part of that, particularly the NRB young graduates, both here and in Bangladesh, in order to do some collaborations, which would be lovely. We would like to see that, and if you have any of that, please do write into the studio and let us know what you're doing, because I think a lot of one of the problems, I think, is we all seem to be working in isolation, and unless we work collaboratively, then the vision for digital Bangladesh is just much more harder to achieve. Dr. Mandich, I have really appreciated your stance and your explanations on those things, but coming back to the e-commerce platforms themselves, and again to what we did in 2015 when we did the e-commerce fair, and that was to promote digital Bangladesh. As we see it progress more and more, and as we understand that B2B is ever more needed, particularly if we're going to get international companies to invest in Bangladesh, post, we hope, this period of COVID-19, as I know it's put a halt on a lot of things. But, you know, there is still a big role for the UK can play in building bridges on these platforms, or whether it's at a security level or at a commercial level with Bangladesh. And your role is a vital one, as you say. You have worked with British Telecoms, Virgin Media, and others, and you understand the need for building these partnerships, as you so rightly say. We do have to work in partnership. This is, the globe is just like the backyard at the minute. It's not that far away. Bangladesh is right next to us in terms of what we do, where we are. NRBs in the UK are always very, very supportive of Bangladesh, the motherland, and want to do as much as they can. And I've heard of a lot of programs that have been going on, whether it's to look at cryptocurrency as a form of looking at cryptocurrency for, as everybody knows about Bitcoin, but and blockchain, which holds all your information. All these things do come under the banner of Digital Bangladesh. So it's an interesting topic and an interesting way to go. I do hope that with things moving forward, and the need for new and better platforms that are safer and can, maybe just alleviate some of the abuses that have been had in business one way or another, that this can be helped with AI and other software that is being developed. Dr. Mandic, can you please how have you seen Bangladesh change, because you've been interested in this since 2015. How have you seen it change, and what do you think it needs to do? What are the next steps for Bangladesh in order to realize its dream?
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking this. But I guess, I have absolutely no doubt that having worked with a lot of talented Bangladeshi people, and especially the young people, they have come a long way. Sometimes I sit on some of the conferences and the calls and the way they are presenting themselves, and a lot of them, who are now currently working on startups, how they pitch their business, how they're so concerned about the social aspects, not just kind of making money, but caring about what they're doing, this sustainability and so on and so forth. It's just really incredible. I honestly say this from the bottom of my heart. It makes me feel so proud that, they have come such a long way, in such a short time. So then it is the question of, like, there is this huge ability, or let's say capability, sitting out there. What needs to be done? And on the other hand, we all know, as you quite rightly said, Rohima, the digital business transformation, that train has left the platform and is running at 200 miles an hour. So there is a huge demand for support. In UK, obviously, there is limited. I mean, now, as far as I know, I think there was some statistics I was looking the other day, and especially after Brexit, there's like 25% shortage of software engineers. I keep coming back to software engineers because I believe that's the heart of the
Maybe we can come back to that after this short break. I'm so sorry, Dr. Zoe. Dr. Zoe, we're going to another short break, and viewers, please do stay with us, and we hope you're finding this topic very interesting. It is, of course, one that I personally am very interested in the e-commerce and digital side, both here and in Bangladesh. So please come back and join us after this short break. Good evening and welcome back to Chai with Rohima. Once again, I'm here with Dr. Zoe Mandic, and prior to our break, I abruptly interrupted Dr. Zoe Mandic. She was carrying on from our conversation about software engineers. Dr. Mandich, please do continue.
Thank you. Sorry, I think I was just going on about two aspects again: software development, and again coming back to e-commerce. If we all want to buy things, we want to have to make sure that there is a solid platform that we can go and do our shopping, and as well as obviously shopping, we can actually sell our products. I know, for example, Facebook is quite active in Bangladesh, but that is a bit, I would say, F-commerce. And it would be nice at some stage, and I'm sure there is a lot of work happening on the e-commerce side of things, so that there is a level of independence, and there are new platforms coming up onto the, that is actually developed by teams in Bangladesh, and it can be used not just in Bangladesh, but internationally and globally. So I believe that's happening, and hopefully, Rohima, that you can bring some more experts that are working in that area in future, shows that you have. But again, leaving that to one side, again, having open interfaces or the open gateways that e-commerce can talk, and the money can get, or I would just say the digital currency for now, can get transferred from point A between the buyer and the seller. So the marketplace is there, so it's important to have that digital currency that is reliable and can be used by everybody. And again, that's something that I believe it will help a lot of economies, that level of independence. You touched briefly about a blockchain. Blockchain, again, helps to make the system more distributed, more, I would say, decentralized. So rather than having all the information in one area, it actually opens it up, and there are lots of nodes that can share the information. And by literally going from one to many, you increase the level of security on the digital world. We refer to it as cybersecurity. Again, a massive opportunity for the graduates or for people who are choosing what shall I do at university. Cybersecurity is absolutely a huge area that requires as much skill, as much people who know about it, and they can help, because it definitely is on the rise. And whenever I sometimes look at the job boards, you can see the level of demand on software engineers for cybersecurity, or cybersecurity refers to digital online work. I don't think we have time to go into the Bitcoin or the altcoins. There are lots of coins and tokens that are coming into the market, which again provides new opportunities, so that people who have a product, they can actually sell it and get this, let's say, almost like an international currency or a token that they can use and exchange it to buy things, which I believe is, again, opening a completely new market. Finally, Rohima, I think one area that we probably need to touch base in terms of having all these good things in Bangladesh, how do we kind of go about promoting them in the right way to the guys that are actually looking for this expertise? Over to you, Rohima.
Yeah, yes, I think it is important. I mean, as we were looking, we, the e-commerce, women's sector, have done an amazing job with over 1 million followers. But as you say, if we need to widen, our exposure, as it were, as to what is happening in Bangladesh, more, not just to Bangladesh, but to other countries, so that they can understand what is actually happening and how we are progressing, and open that commerce, that new kind of avenue, just as the Magellan Straits built a way for spices to come. We need to build our own way for Bangladeshi goods to come, whether it's services or goods, to come across the world, and that that is through the gateway. I understand there are a lot of people who are working on payment gateways and looking at how people can benefit from the e-commerce platforms. And if we look at the we and the women's sector, you can see that so many women have managed to take this opportunity and use it to their advantage from working from home. COVID did help. It encouraged a lot of people to start to make use of the space that they have. And it's amazing that, obviously it's a middle-income country now, Bangladesh. It's been recognized as such. But it wasn't that long ago that it was a developing country. And with, there are so many things that we, unfortunately, this program alone will not be able to touch on, because about the ecosystems and how digital uses are used there and can be used, and what we can be doing as part of that to promote it. But in order to come back to the e-commerce side and the platforms and how we can look at expanding and helping, assisting, supporting the Bangladesh government to realize its dream, I hope that many viewers will writing and say, and perhaps we could have a portal in which we can use these collaborative efforts to promote it in that way. I think it's very useful for big businesses as well as small businesses to work together to bring their expertise forward and promote not only just good practice, but to develop, Bangladesh services in a better way, in a comprehensive way, so that even when it comes down to those service level agreements, as we started off with, to be able to say that, we are more than capable of handling the load that India or China or any other country has done. And Bangladesh graduates and its young graduates and young population are not only the gems of Bangladesh and of the NRBs. Let's work together. We've broken down that glass ceiling, as it were, and we've broken away from those ties of being a developing country. Dr. Zoe, it's well-wishers like you, it's supportive people like you, it's people who, from the outside looking in like you, that can help give us those guidance and signpost us to the areas where maybe we are just not looking. Thank you so much for your contribution and for supporting Bangladesh in all that you do. It's something that is very commendable, and I know that as we've spoken, that we hope that another range of events over the winter and coming months to help provide those trainings and services will be something that Face Markets looks forward to doing.
Yes, thank you very much, Rohima. That's been very kind of you. And I'm always there to help the people, ordinary people, understanding the overall strategy and how we can bring that strategy to benefit each and every one of the people, whether they're in a village, whether they're in a city, whether you're a farmer, whether you're in a factory. Again, all of this technology is there to help you and facilitate that and better the life. And for those of us who know kind of where the points needs to be connected, we are here to help out. And I really, wish Bangladesh and especially the women of Bangladesh, I know how active they are, and the youth of Bangladesh, all the success. And I would hope that they would actually kind of perhaps increase their presence a little bit more in the international arena, where there are international exhibitions. Even if it is a question of having a small booth, is better than nothing, so that people can get to see it. Not everybody is like me who can just attend different conferences and things, but just have that point of presence helps a lot. Be in communications with CEOs of big, let's say, telecommunications, IT companies, and then keep promoting Bangladesh, so that they know that this expertise, this talent, pool of talent is available. Because how would anybody know? Suppose somebody sitting in Virgin Media, and they need software engineers. How are they supposed to know? There's this lovely, facilities called High Tech Park in 6 or 7 different states of Bangladesh. These things need to be promoted, and I look up to people who are good. My job is not PR, but people who are really good at that, kind of start thinking about promoting these huge pool of talent and the capabilities that is sitting in Bangladesh.
Thank you so much. I mean, to our viewers, the reason why we, I think this subject, as I said, is very, very important. We have a lot of youngsters here who are NRBs who are looking, and non-NRBs, it doesn't really matter, who are looking at what areas they should be now looking in. When we want to be forward thinking and we want to be able to do work in business, I think business is now no longer just over the counter, and it's something much bigger than that. And with the software engineers working remotely, it's everything from designers to selling to just making that corporate presence, as Dr. Zoe said, is very, very important to make your presence known. And if we are unable to do that, not just as a community, with the knowledge and know-how that we have, we do ourselves a disservice. It's not what we do against anybody else, but we do ourselves a disservice, because we have reached that level. We can we can be competitive on the open market and compete with places such as China and India. And this is one area that Dr. Zoe and I have always felt that Bangladesh doesn't sell itself short. It just needs us to promote. I want, we're coming to the end of the program. I want to say thank you to all our viewers for watching, and thank you to you, Dr. Zoe Mandich. Your presence here, your support, and your advice has been very, very gratefully received. I hope our viewers looks upon that and does their own little bit of research, and perhaps join us once again in 2 weeks' time for another edition of Chai with Rohima. Thank you once again for joining us. Thank you once again, Dr. Zoe Mandich. It's been a pleasure to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rohima, for inviting me.
Thank you and goodbye.
It's been a pleasure
Assalamu alaikum wa
to be
rahmatullahi
here.
wa barakatuh.